Hello, and welcome back to Hammer Horror in Order, the series where we're watching the Hammer horror and thrillers from Hammer Films in the order in which they were released. So the whole point of the series is right there in the title. I'm Josh, and I'm joined here with Donnie,
Yo.
Tiana,
Hi.
and the Professor Smoke right next to her there.
What's up?
And we are from the All American Spook Show podcast, which you can listen to every Monday at 6 p.m. East, right here on the YouTube channel. Also, wherever you get your podcast. So find it wherever, whatever medium pleases you. We should be there. We also have other series here on the YouTube channel, including Video Vortex, where we watch some stuff from the 80s and 90s, video store rental days. And we have Grindhouse Gutter, where the professor will choose something at random that would have played, like B movies that would have played in the drive-ins and grindhouses back in the 60s, 70s into the 80s. So lots of cool stuff going on there. And of course, every week on the podcast, we talk about new horror movies, cult movies, all types of stuff on the All American Spook Show podcast. So you don't want to miss any of that stuff. But this month, the chronological order finally brings us back to where we should be. Since December? We've been doing Hammer Horror in Order Addendum, where some people pointed out that there was some movies that we had missed. So we were going back and filling in the gaps of the ones that we had missed, and we're finally back to date. So we've caught up to literally the very end of 1961 for Hammer Films. It was their last release as far as the ones that we're watching from Hammer, and that was Cash on Demand, which was released December 20th, 1961. I'll say this was right out the gate. This was a pretty interesting flick, like well done, well acted, right? I mean, and it's pretty much a two-man show, right?
Yeah. And the fact that it came out December 20th plays a role in the movie as it's set during Christmas time.
Yeah, you're right. And I'd never, honestly, I don't even know if I'd ever even heard of it, or if I had, it was
No, I definitely
passing, but I've
yeah.
definitely never seen it before. Had any of you?
No, I don't even think I've heard of it either.
No.
Even not even in passing. I don't even remember this title.
It's and we'll get into it here in just a minute, but I mean, it's a solid flick, but I don't know if it's necessarily one you would want to watch over and over again, right? Because of the way it plays out. Not necessarily a whodunit. You're just kind of on the edge of your seat, seeing how this is going to play out. And once you've seen how it plays out, it's like, okay, well, I've seen it, so it's probably not a multiple viewing type thing, but it's really well done, right?
Yeah. And you said it was based on, I didn't know this going into it until, but it was based on a play. And you can kind of tell that. I mean, you can tell, it's like I said, a two-man show pretty much. I mean, you got his right-hand man assistant. So, I mean, occasionally there's three people or, various other characters, but mainly just those two throughout most of the movie and set in the bank throughout also most of the movie. So it plays out just fine. Like I said, it's solidly written and everything, but probably plays out better as a play than it does maybe as a movie as far as seeing it again or something like that.
Yeah, it actually was this screenplay was adapted from a teleplay that had aired pretty much just about a year or so before this movie came out in 1960 from the Associated Television Theater 70 teleplay called The Golden Side. And that was directed by Trevor Lawrence. And so was this, I'm sorry, not Trevor Lawrence. He's the quarterback of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
I was like, oh, wow.
I just saw Lawrence and
multi-talented.
I saw Lawrence and went into football mode. Quentin Lawrence. He directed that teleplay and this film. And this film stars, first off, it's nice to see Peter Cushing back, right?
Oh, yeah.
But it stars Peter Cushing, and it also stars André Morell. And the third guy that kind of comes in and out of the room, Peter Cushing's character's name's Fordyce. His assistant is Pearson. That guy's Richard Vernon. Now, Morell and Vernon were in the teleplay, but Peter Cushing was not. So I guess whoever played Fordyce in the teleplay, they just switched him out for Peter Cushing. Obviously, I'm sure the other guy was fine, but I'm sure this is a a much bigger upgrade, right? Getting Peter Cushing in there.
Yeah, I didn't pick up on what his name was. So I thought the entire movie until the credits came, he was calling him Four Eyes.
Yeah.
The entire
Yeah.
I was like, he just keeps calling him Four Eyes. I was like, is that really, like, I don't know.
Well,
I thought that until like his assistant, until somebody else called him by name. I'm like, why is he also calling him Four Eyes? That's pretty good. Then I'm like, oh, okay, his name is something that sounds like, and then I listened, oh, Fordyce, okay, because I didn't look up anything on this movie.
No, I didn't either.
and you know what you're saying jives too with that scene where like he's like, take your glasses off. What? But I can't see it. Take your glasses off, and then just like pap, just smack them.
I was like, well, he does wear glasses, so
yeah,
I mean, maybe it's.
Yeah. Well, that is kind of the character too. I could definitely see where you would see it because that's kind of the character too. He's kind of a nerdy, straight laced, very serious man.
Yeah,
you know, so like
play by the book.
And really, you know, it kind of plays out like you said, Smoke. It's got the Christmas backdrop and everything like that. But I almost thought for good portions of this movie, and you know, once again, we don't give away the deep spoilers here on this series. You know, we only do that on the podcast. But the way this was playing out, it was almost like a Christmas Carol, almost like a Scrooge type of scenario going on here. I thought
that, and then also another one that comes to mind because of the bank setting, even though it doesn't have to do with a run on the bank or nothing like that, is It's a Wonderful Life.
Yeah,
to a certain degree. I mean, it doesn't have that premise at all, but just the bank setting and Christmas, I guess, made me think of that.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, I don't want to give anything away as far as how it ends, but like I'll let you know now that, you know, if you have an inkling of a thought kind of like I did, there is no supernatural aspect of this. I won't tell you how it ends, but it's not, you know, that's where I was thinking. I was like, you know what, this dude almost is coming off like he's like you know, one of the ghosts that are visiting Scrooge to correct him in his ways. Right?
Oh yeah, it's true. Yeah,
but that's not quite what's going on here. But yeah, I'd say like I said, it's a really well done, awesome acting by Peter Cushing, André Morell, hell, even the you know, Richard Vernon, the second man there, you know, really good job, well written. The screenplay, by the way, for this was written by David T. Chantler and Lewis Greifer. And like I mentioned, this was from a teleplay, and that one was written by Jacques Gillet. And this was directed, both the teleplay and this was directed by Quentin Lawrence. So, I mean, like, clearly they knew the material and knew what they wanted, you know, and they just slid Peter Cushing in and got a great price. It would be interesting to go back and, Lord knows how we would do that, but find that copy of that teleplay, because it was a series that was on, I'm assuming BBC or, you know, some type of British television back then, called the Associated Television Theater 70. I think Theater 70 was the name of the series. So I seriously doubt a random teleplay from 1960 probably even still exists, you know, a copy of it, but it would be interesting to go back and see that original version of it just to see if it, you know, is done any differently, you know. The way we do Hammer Horror in order is we come together beforehand, we kind of hash it out a little bit, and we come up with a consensus score. And for this one, we give out 0 through 5. It's basically stars, but we call them hammers. So in this one, we decided to land on 3 hammers, and that puts it in line with a good handful of past episodes, to be honest with you. A matter of fact, just the one that we did just last month, Taste of Fear, aka Scream of Fear. We also gave that one 3 hammers, but it falls in line with The Abominable Snowman, Hound of the Baskervilles, The Brides of Dracula, Two Faces of Dr. Jekyll, The Curse of the Werewolf. We couldn't quite put it above all of those, so we just kind of put it there with them. Because I think we all agree in some ways it's better than some of those, but in other ways it's not quite as good as some of those. So it's kind of
like we mentioned, it's well written and well acted and all that. It just doesn't have the replayability that some of those other 3-star movies and slightly above 3-star movies have, I think.
Yeah, I think for a first time viewing, you'll really enjoy it, and you'll be on the edge of your seat. You'll be on the edge of your seat to find out like how's this going to end. You know, what's going to happen here. There's a good bit of tension. I just think that once that you've seen it and once that has happened, once it's played out, it's not one you would probably revisit. Maybe a few years down the line or something, because it is a solid flick, but it's not one.
Maybe you just want to see Peter Cushing get slapped.
Yeah. and if so, you can just watch that one scene over and over again.
It is a scene that just comes out of nowhere. I mean, as soon as it kind of telegraphed. I mean, to a viewer of today, like, take your glasses off. You kind of, I know what's coming, probably.
There we go. All right.
Who's about to get smacked? It was.
And then it happens, and you're like, oh, kind of, just. You sent that to us on the chat outside of this, and I hadn't seen the movie yet.
Yeah. So you knew that it was going to come eventually.
Yeah, I knew it was coming eventually, and it was like, but when you send it, and I like, it was just hilarious. That moment, out of context, it's even more funny.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's a solid flick. I think we all highly recommend it. It's probably just not one you would revisit over and over, but not all movies are. There's a place for the ones that you see once and move on too. So solid flick. Definitely recommend you go check it out. And hopefully next month we can say the same thing. We like I said, we're out of addendum, so we're getting back. Now, this was technically a thriller. This was not a horror, but I think next month we're getting closer back into the horror category, and we're going to be watching Captain Clegg, aka Night Creatures, from 1962. I think that, like, there's something about, like, some dudes dressed like skeletons or something that are riding horses or something that are kind of a popular image from this movie. Plus, it's got Peter Cushing in it and a couple other familiar faces from some of the other Hammer films. So I'm looking forward to that, and we'll check that out and take the deep dive here next month on Hammer Horror in Order. So for Will, who couldn't be with us, Donnie, Tiana, Professor Smoke, I'm Josh. We are from the All American Spook Show podcast. Like I mentioned off the top, check us out every Monday at 6 p.m. East, wherever you get your podcast, or right here on the channel. And please stick around, watch the other stuff on the channel. Go ahead and subscribe if you like. Click the bell to be notified when new videos come up. We got multiple videos a week here on the channel, so you don't want to miss a thing. So thanks for watching.